Hello, my name is Acharya Hargreaves, and today we are going to be doing an art piece I call Attack on Luna 6. Most of it is done in Daz3d 4.10 and Photoshop. You can use Daz3d is a free program. You can download it from Daz3d.com, and Photoshop, or if you have Photoshop or other layer-based programs, you can do pretty much the same things. So anyways, here we go. So on the screen here, this is Daz 4.10. In the YouTube listing down below, I'll have all the links to all the products I use in the video, so you can purchase them if you want to do the same art piece. So here we are. I'm trying to select a background piece that I'm going to do with it's called a GIS project. That's the one that I'm going to be using right now. I'm just positioning it so it's in a fairly nice angle. I find that Daz3d is a really great piece of software for doing digital art. It's got an amazing renderer and really great shaders to it and such, and it's got a huge library that you can download and purchase from their online store for all kinds of things. Here I'm trying to search for the shaders for this 3D model. When I purchased this 3D model, it didn't come with any textures, so I'm going to be applying my own textures to it, or at least shaders to it. Just got to find the shaders here. That one has shaders. I'm trying to find the back wall shaders first. And I'm going to apply the shaders to this one here. I'm going to use an architectural shader. And I'm going to change the color to like a dark blue or something. I click on material. Yeah. Make sure that metal is on in that shader. And turn on metal. I'm selecting the walkway now. Now I'm viewing it in the, oh yeah, I'm going to save the project first. It's very important in all these 3D applications, 3D Studio Max, Blender, Maya, any of those, they all have bad habit of quitting on you if the rendering process becomes too intense. So in any of these 3D products, it's always good to save your work as often as possible. Now I'm testing the rendering out. My computer, I'm doing all this on a laptop, actually. I'm trying to get enough money together to buy a better system, but so far what I'm doing here is on a laptop, so things are going to be a bit slower than usual. There I set the environment mode to sun and sky only, because it actually gives a really nice sun ray through the windows. There's no, I covered up the windows here in this image, so I'm going to go back in there and select, there it is. I selected those windows and put glass on them, so now you can see the sun coming through, and it's changed the dome mode to finite sphere. That gives a couple more options. Now I'm rotating the dome so that I get sunlight coming in at a specific angle. And I think I'm going to add some roughness to the ground and reduce the glossiness. Now, as you can see, the light's coming in a bit. I raised the environment intensity up to 5.0. That gives a really nice sunlight effect. In many of my art pieces, I like to render the background first, and then render out the characters individually. There, I raised it to 7. So. Because that way it allows me to apply different effects to the characters and the background in Photoshop without affecting the others. I selected the railing, and I'm applying a different shader to that here. This is called Sci-Fi Barrels, and it is a really nifty product. Actually, it's one of my products that I developed, and I'm tooting my own horn here. So, I find that it really helps to add in scenes elements to take away empty space. So if there's empty space in your scene, like a sci-fi scene or something, and you need some filler objects, Sci-Fi Barrels is a great option. It gives you at least 12 different Sci-Fi barrels with at least, I think, 3 textures for each. 2 clean textures, and then 1 like rusty texture. So you can change the textures on the barrels and stuff. There I'm applying some different textures to the barrels. I actually select you can see the 2 barrels up at front that are exactly the same. Later on I changed the right one to, I think, the green texture. You'll see that I do that later on here. Now I'm selecting all the barrels and I'm adding them to a group because it's easier, more organized that way. Now it's time to get the figures. I really like this figure here. It's Ophelia 7. She's got a more of like an Amazonian look or like tough woman look. All Daz characters usually start out nude, and then you can dress them in clothing and stuff. It's kind of like playing paper dolls. Here I'm choosing a pose for her. I like this pose. It's like action-filled. Positioning her. Now this is the outfit. It's called Relentless Mercenary Outfit. It's a really nice outfit for this character. It makes it look like she's been in battle a lot and different things. I think they've actually got some poses for her face too, which I'm going to do, some facial expressions. Now if you select that little bone icon at the top, which I just did, it allows you to have the item selected, the object selected, but at the same time it doesn't obscure the object with the XYZ coordinates, so I can see the facial expressions and stuff. Here I'm applying some makeup. Some of the other makeups are better. This is Brenna for Ophelia 7. This is actually really nice makeup stuff. I like them a lot. They have different styles. There's a black mask. I think I'm trying to look for the one that's in the bottom. I don't find it yet. Let's see here. There's a hair. I'm going to apply some hair to her head. This is some nice hair. It's got a braid that you can rotate the braid in different ways. So now that I'm rotating it left, and then you rotate Ophelia 7, it kind of looks like she's moving in that direction, dodging something. I think I'm going to go back to her face now and see if I can apply the texture. That's the one I'm looking for. Saving it there. And let's see what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, I'm going to be creating some light spheres. This is creating a primitive, sphere primitive, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it into a light source, and it makes it very easy to light up scenes. You can actually make the sphere invisible to the camera and at the same time light an area, so it's really good for lighting areas that are difficult to light. You can use a regular light as well, but I find that using these spheres is actually pretty quick. Just go there and click on emissive and apply the emissive texture. And then down here on emissive color, emission color, I'm going to choose kind of like a yellow orange, and I'm going to increase the value to, I think it's 50,000 or 500,000, something like that. You can always pause the video if you can't see something and view it that way. Here I'm making a duplicate of it, and this time the color is going to be blue, because actually blue and orange lights on a subject actually work really well. Now I am making her disappear. I have to turn off all the different parts of her. Getting her ready for rendering. Now, since my computer is a little bit slower, the rendering process I actually paused and then I started the video again when it was finishing, because it was taking quite a while. So it seems somewhat fast right now. So this is the test render. I just wanted to see where the light was coming in and how bright it was, because here I'm going to be turning down some of the light. The blue one, I think it turned down a bit. There's another test render. So that's better. I like to always render my scenes if they have glass in them with transparency, because then I can put other things behind the glass, like other backgrounds. It shines through on the glass. So this is a fully rendered scene right here. I think I'm going to be canceling it at that point and then saving it. And always save it as a PNG, because then you get a transparent background. And now I'm going to turn off the barrels and turn back on Ophelia 7. And I'm also going to turn off the background too. There you go. And I'm going to render that out. Here's the render. I'm going to pause it there. So we're just trying to wait for it to render here. Now I'm saving it as a PNG. And now we're going into Photoshop. I'm using Photoshop CS5. We'll bring them both in. And here I'm cutting and pasting this image. First we'll select all, copy, and then paste. Usually I do things by Control C and then Control V. Well, actually it's Control A for select all, Control C for copy, and Control V for paste. It makes things a lot faster. I'm actually using a PC. So those of you who have Mac, the controls would be different. I don't know them at the moment. This is a list of a whole bunch of sci-fi images I make myself, but I made one specifically for this this image here. You can download this background in the link below for you to use for your projects if you like. Now I'm saving this as a TIFF image. I like to use TIFF images. They tend to be a bit more larger in size, but they have a lot of great versatility about them. They have layers, and you can use them in many different applications. Here I'm manually selecting these windows here with a straight lasso tool, I guess is what they call it. And here I'm holding down Shift to do another one. Now I'm going to apply a mask right there, and I'm going to invert the mask. And now I can just select the area that needs to be, I'm inverting the selection there, and just painting in with a like a gray texture. It allows me to paint back in the window there at a lower opacity so you can see the stars a bit better. Now I'm going to group those and name them background, BG for background. And I'm going to group this and name that girl. I think I'm going to duplicate this now. Or actually I'm going to get rid of the shadow a little bit, or reduce the shadow of her because it's a bit dark. That's a bit too much. Reduce opacity to 50% and reduce the shadow a bit. Now I'm going to duplicate her and change the blending mode. So I'm going to get rid of the shadow there again. I'm going to change the blending mode to multiply at 50%. It makes the girl a bit more better toned. And now I believe I'm going to duplicate her again and then turn off the underside. It's always a good practice, in my opinion, to duplicate things that you're working on and then just hide the one underneath, so that if you make a mistake on the one that you're working on, you can always go back to a previous one you had. So now I'm darkening her up in different spots by using the burn tool. It makes it look like she's kind of being in areas like fights and stuff. There, I'm duplicating that one now, and I'm going to put some more burn marks in here. It's a bit too dark. So I change it down to 10%. I can darken up different areas of the image. There, I'm saving it. And I think we're going to create another layer here, another group. This is a group, and this is the lasers. I misspelled that. And I'm going to select the hard round brush and reduce it down to, I think, 4. I'm testing out the width right there. Yeah, it's too small, so 4 is like perfect. And I make a spot, click once, and then hold down Shift to create a straight line. And then you double click on it to bring up the layer properties, layer styles, and I'm creating the effect for the laser beam right now in the layer styles. Now what I do is I copy the layer style, and then I can create a new layer and then create another laser beam here. Obviously these are from other characters off screen that are shooting the lasers. Here I'm changing the laser to be blue. You got red and blue lasers. Now here I'm going on the internet. Well, I have some internet trouble here, but I think I have to reset the router. So there it is. I'm looking for explosion patterns to use with sparks. So this one right here looks really good. Now I use a soft or eraser soft round brush to erase the dark areas around the sparkle. And then we just change it to screen mode and move it into place. And I go to image, adjustments, hue and saturation, colorize, so it changes it to red, and then we move it over to blue. And we do the same for that. There you have the lasers. And creating a new group here. This is going to be kind of like a fog a setup. Turn that black, and then I'm rendering clouds. And then turn that to screen. And we are going to hue, saturation, colorize, and I'm going to reduce the lighting so it gets like a, there it is, kind of like a bluish fog. And here, if you select a gradient, black and white gradient, and you apply a mask, then you can actually make the fog disappear in a very nice gradual way. So it's just kind of like on the floor. And then I reduce the opacity to 50%, maybe a little less, 32%, 41%, 43%. Now this here, I pressed Control Alt Shift plus E, which is kind of like to make a composite of everything into one shot, and then it puts it above what you're doing. So I made a duplicate of those, and then I changed one to overlay at 25% to darken the image a little bit and flatten that one down. So I'm applying some different effects here now. This is going to be vinaigrette, I guess is what they call it. It's to make the dark, there's like the dark edges around the image. I guess it kind of gives it a more like a film look or something. I'm creating a new group called Depth, I think. This is where I'm going to take one of the images and I'm going to move it into depth and then change it to a blur setting, Gaussian blur. So partial of the image is a little bit blurred in the background. And I'm going to go down to the character. And I'm just going to hold down Control and select character so it selects her so I can make her into focus. And I'm going to do that with the laser beams too. And maybe even drop the depth down a little bit to 50%. And I think that's about it for the image. Just save it as in another file. So anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you had fun. I'll see you guys on next video. Saving it out here. JPG. Alrighty.